What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, hang on guys, there we go, sorry guys, I had to move my chair and everything else a little bit. Anyway, for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, it is all about the new cards that are coming out of the newest deck build set, Duelists of the Abyss, which I'm actually tempted to get only because of the new shark support, but you never know, but I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna go straight into it. And if you guys enjoy this video and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos which get posted every Tuesday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, smash that thumbs up button, and of course check me out on my socials. Links are in the description below. That being said, we have Kurioshin Leviathan. It's a 5-star water sea serpent with 2,000 attack and 1,700 defense, and its second effect is a once per turn. First effect says, while Umi is on the field, each player can only control one face of non-water monster. If a player controls 2 or more, that player sends those monsters to the grave until they control only one. So it basically acts as like a sort of like a there can be only one type of deal, where you can only control one type of monster or one attribute of monster. So excuse me, which is not that bad of a floodgate, given the fact that there are so many cards that can be treated as Umi. I know that there is a Legendary Ocean, which is pretty funny because it can lower. I believe a Legendary Ocean can lower the levels of a monster by like 1 or 2 stars. So with that, all you do is just normal summon Leviathan without a tribute, and that's about as broken as it can get, which is actually kind of funny. The second effect says, during your main phase, you can add 1 Umi or Kurioshin spell or trap, or Sea Stealth spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So it's like a... So it's basically like a... So it can act as like a terraforming, or it can act as a Rhoda spell or as a spell or trap Rhoda, which is not too bad. It's not too bad. I think the only downside to this whole thing is that this has to work with the water-based decks, which that's like the only downside, but still it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There's like 2 different notes here. It says the first one says historically, Kurioshin had a strangely localized name. Its Japanese name is written as something I don't read Japanese, unfortunately. Kurioshin, Sea Serpent Deity, but force read as Leviathan, and yet its name was localized as Kurioshin. With the usual reading and not the forced reading, this new card is written again as Kurioshin, but it's instead meant to be read as Kurioshin, which is kind of weird. They're both the same name. While adding a title of Leviathan so that it features both names at the same time, which is not too bad. It's pretty cool. The first effect... Okay, yeah, I figured. It works similarly. I thought it would be like there could be only one, but it's like where it could be there can be only one, but it can also work as like a Rivalry Warlords or Ghost match, which is pretty funny. The text should match those cards, but since it's more specific as to what gets forcefully sent to the grave, I left a more literal translation. Oh, so the person that wrote that actually said I left it. Okay, so. But, that being said, I mean, honestly, honestly, the card seems pretty good, but at the same time, it's not as like good as people think. So you would need to have at least three copies of this in order to make it relevant, honestly. Next up, we have a new Marine-Says Link Link monster, which is known as Marine-Says Coral Triangle. It's a Link 3 water side burst with 1500 attack, and its Link arrows are up, bottom left, bottom right. Excuse me. And it requires 2 or more Marine-Says monsters. You can only use so both of its effects are once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate either effect except for water monsters. So it locks you out. It locks you into only water monsters, which is not too bad, but at the same time, because the Marine-Says decks use up different attributes, you won't be able to use them until next turn, which is easier said than done, because you're most likely going to be using this effect a lot. So the first effect says you can send 1 water monster from your hand to the grave, add a Marine-Says trap from your deck to your hand. So it's basically a reverse monster reincarnation, but for traps. So what happens is that you, as the effect suggests, you send a card from your hand to the grave, which is the normal cost for monster reincarnation, but instead of adding a card from the grave to the hand, you add a Marine-Says trap from the deck to the hand. So again, it's a reverse reincarnation, which is kind of cool, which is pretty cool. Second effect says you can, if only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish the card from your grave. Supposed to summon any number of water link monsters from your grave whose total link ratings equal 3. So you can summon as many link 3s as possible by banishing Coral Triangle to the grave, which is not too bad. It's not too bad. The only problem is that you're gonna probably get Nibiru'd. That's like the only problem. That's like the only problem, which is kind of funny, but it's pretty cool. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or anything like that. All right, next up, and I want to make sure I got this right. Yeah. All right, next up is the new Shark support, which honestly, the new Xyz monster I'm actually looking forward to. But there's also something else that caught my eye when I first saw these, which we'll get to that here in a second. So first up, we have Abyss Shark, which is a 5-star water fish with 1200 attack and 700 defense. And the first effect is a once per turn. If all monsters you control are water monsters, minimum 1, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except water monsters. Also, the next battle damage your opponent takes this turn from battle involving your number monster and another monster is doubled. Also, special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, add a level 3, 4, or 5 monster from your deck to your hand except this card. So, it may sound confusing, but what's cool, but basically to summarize it, the battle damage that your opponent takes that involves one of your numbers and another monster you have on board is double. So for instance, if your opponent, if you have, I'll say number 101, Silent Honor, I'll say Silent Honor Dark, let's say that. And we'll say Bahamut Shark. I'm actually going to go on Nexus right now and actually look them up. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. Here we are. I'm just going to so for instance, let's say let's see. So Silent Honor Dark would have 2800. So let's see. And then I believe Bahamut Shark has 26. Okay, so let's see, 28 divided by 2. That would be 1400. So if you were to attack your opponent directly, as an example, 2800 divided by times 2 would be 5600. And then 2600. So basically, if you were to attack directly with both Bahamut Shark and Silent Honor Dark, as an example, your opponent would be taking well over 10,000 damage, which is basically game, which is actually kind of funny. And the best part, and the crazy part, is that you're able to special summon this card from your hand, even though it doesn't really matter. Basically, it really wouldn't have mattered because your opponent would basically just lose. But you also get to just Rhoda a monster from your deck to your hand, which is kind of funny. But not that it would matter because you'll be dealing double damage, which would involve your number monster and another monster. I believe it's another monster your opponent may have on the field. The effect doesn't it doesn't really say, but still. Alright, so, but again, it's double damage. So it has the effects of Cyber Twin Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Rhoda, all rolled into one effect, which is actually kind of funny, which is pretty funny, but it's so good, so good. Second effect says if this card is used for the exceed summon of a number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 4. So you can go into cards like, say, number 71 or number 101 with this card, which is pretty cool, which is really just so good. Second, now the next card we have is Crystal Shark. It's a 5-star water fish, 1100 attack, 800 defense, and the first effect is a once per turn. If this card is in your hand, or grave, if you target a water monster on the field, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except exceeds monsters. Also special summon this card, but banish him when it leaves the field. And if you do, that target's current attack becomes half. Second effect says, if this card is used for the exceed summon of a number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or level 4 monster. Hello, banish when it leaves the field. How do you bypass the banishing effect? Use the second effect. That way you can send it to. That way you can detach it from the number monster, send it to the graveyard, and you can resurrect the monster back with its first effect. It's an endless loop with this card. It's an endless loop with this card, and it's a once per turn, which is pretty nuts. Now, if you guys remember the battle between Shark and Yuma from season 3, of Zexal, which I actually do, which is kind of crazy. It was basically a battle to determine who ruled the world, basically, whether it was Barian world or Astral, or I guess Astral world, I guess, so to speak. And Shark had used a series of spells and traps known as 7 Emperors, which were just the absolute most broken cards I had ever seen ever. And we're finally getting them in print. And here's one of them. It's sort of like it's basically your draw card, so to speak. The card is known as Barian's Chaos Draw. The effect, it's a normal spell, but the effect reads, to activate this card, you must draw it for your normal draw in your draw phase. Reveal it and keep it revealed until the main phase 1. And during your main phase 1, that same turn, you can activate one of these effects. So it has two different effects. So it's similar to Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, but basically it's basically it's basically the 7th one on steroids. So the first effect says send one Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, or one 7 Emperor's normal spell from your deck to the grave. This effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. Second effect, special summon up to 2 from your deck, but their effects are negated. Up to 2 monsters from your deck, but their effects are negated, and if you do immediately after this effect resolves, exceed summon a number exceeds using all the summoned monsters. Which is absolutely nuts, given the fact that we're finally getting these cards in print after all these years, and it's crazy because there were a lot of people, myself included, who wanted to see these get printed. And now we're finally getting them in print. Finally, after all these years. Honestly, this effect is so good. This is actually one of those cards. This is one of those spells that people may say it's not good, but it is so good, because you can either use this card as the 7th one or a 7 Emperor's card and just activate it right off the bat, or you can just exceed summon with this, just exceed summon monsters right off the bat, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Now, moving on into the 2 7 Emperor spell and traps. The first one is Ascension of the 7 Emperors, which is a normal spell, and both of its effects are once per turn. Take 1 Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, or it says, okay, I thought I said or. Take 1 Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, 1 7 Emperor spell or trap. Other than this card, 1 Barian's spell or trap, or 1 Rank Up Magic quick play spell from your deck, and either add it to your hand or place it on top of the deck. Basically, it basically just allows you to draw out the 7th one, and you can use its effects and just go balls out, just go nuts with it, which is pretty crazy. Which is really crazy, given the fact that the 7th one is so, in my opinion, is so much more powerful than almost any of the other rank ups. But what's funny is that Barian's Force gives your Xyz monster an additional Xyz material by detaching that material from your opponents, which is pretty fucking crazy. Second effect reads: if your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can banish this card from your grave and send 1 Rank Up Magic spell from your hand to the grave. This effect that becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. Oh my god, that is just absolutely busted. That is busted. You can actually activate this effect. I believe you can activate this effect during your opponent's turn, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Now we have a continuous trap known as Eternity of the 7 Emperors. I'm hoping that we get the anime cards, because I believe these are just the... I believe these are the manga cards. There were rumors that these are actually manga. If you guys know if they are... If these cards are manga, let me know in the comments below, because I don't know. I don't know if these truly are manga or not, but we'll see. But we shall see. Anyway, it is known as Eternity of the 7 Emperors, and it's a continuous trap, and the effect is a once per turn. You can target 1 Xyz monster you control that has a number with a number between 101 and 107 in its name, or has such monster as material, then activate one of these effects. Negate the effects of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls with equal or lower attack until the end of this turn. Detach all materials from that monster, then you can supposed to summon a number exceeds monster from your grave. So it acts as like a... It acts as a continuous imperm, or a continuous, like... Or a continuous monster reborn, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. At the same time, you really don't want to see... If you were to have multiple copies of this, like at least 2, you would only... You only want to see 1 in your opening hand, which is kind of crazy. But moving on into the reprints of the set, we have number 101, Silent Honor Arc. We have Silent Angler, Xyz Remora, Chaos number 101, Silent Honor Dark. Full Armor Black Gray Lancer, Rank Up Magic the 7th one, Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos. I'm hoping if this becomes like the set 2 Chaos, which I think it is, I'm hoping that the 7th one becomes a collector's rare, because that would look so gorgeous as a collector's rare. But I'm actually excited for the new Shark support. It is. I think the new Shark support is going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. Now we move on into the last thing of this video. It is actually the new Shark Xyz monster. It's actually the Chaos form of it, which is cool. It is known as Nafil Asylum Chaos Knight. Or rather, Chaos Xyz. Nafil Asylum Chaos Knight, which is the ranked up version of Nafil Asylum Heth Knight. So it's a rank 6 Water Aqua Xyz with 2,000 attack and 3,000 defense. And it says you can also exceed some of this card by using the Nafil Asylum Heth Knight. You control it as material, transfer its materials to this card. You can only use the second effect once per turn. First effect says cannot be destroyed by card effects. Absolutely broken, of course. You can detach a material from this card, supposed to summon one number Xyz monster that has number between 101 and 107 in its name from your action by using this face-up card you control as material, but destroy during your opponent's next end phase. This is treated as an Xyz summon. Transfer this card's materials to the summoned monster. So, even though the monster you chose gets destroyed, which is unfortunate, it's still really good. It's still so good because you can just automatically go into... You can just automatically go into a card like say number 107, and then just go ahead and activate Rank Up Magic Barian's Force, rank it up into Neo Tachyon, which is absolutely nuts. It is nuts. It would have what? It would have what? 1, 2, 3, 4 materials. It would have up to 5 materials if Barian's Force allows you to extract a material from your opponent's Xyz monster, which is just crazy. It is absolutely nuts. Honestly, the new support is just insane. It is absolutely insane. There are several other things that I do want to bring up, that I do want to talk about. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until Saturday. I know that I don't typically do this, but I'm gonna wait until Saturday to finish up the rest of the video, which actually includes the new effect for a new V-Jump promo, the new Albaz fusions that are going to be in the new Albaz structure deck, the new Mayakashi support, and also the first, and then also some new cards out of a new core set, which I'll be talking about as well in Saturday's video. So that brings me to the question of the day: which archetype are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the most in Duelists of the Abyss? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which get posted every Tuesday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.